Peace, everybody. How y'all doing? This your dude Scott, aka T.A.Z, now known as Herikuti Paquino. Amen. Just went through a quick video and whatnot, talking about some solutions because depending on who you talk to in America, you're going to get a different answer as far as problems are concerned. Some individuals will tell you America has no problems, we're the greatest superpower in the world. Other people will tell you that, yeah, America has its problems. And other people will tell you, black America is America's problem. But, you know, the one thing that remains the same is we can talk about problems all day, all night, but nobody's really talking about no solutions. Nobody's talking about how do you turn those problems around to benefit you. So I had a couple of things that I wanted to speak about that came to me that I'd like to share. Now, everything that I'm going to talk about, honestly, is not necessarily the end all be all of all the solutions, but it's just a different way of thinking of things instead of this traditional way that, we've been bred to think. So with these solutions, I'm not necessarily going to explain each and every one of these details, in depth. Basically, I'm just giving you breadcrumbs where you could take that information and do some research for yourself to see what might work for you, what resonates with you. So now with with us as humans, basically what we need to survive, the most basic is food, clothing, and shelter. Now, when it comes to clothing, you already got that on your back. A lot of y'all got too many clothes anyway. So I'm not even gonna get into that. I'll I'll touch on that as far as excessive spending, but clothing, we got people that can make clothes. It's that's self-explanatory. So the first thing, pardon me, man, my eyes itching. The first thing I wanted to take talk about was housing. Now, in this day and age, they got us twisted as far as housing is concerned. If you live in the inner city, like here in Brooklyn, forget about it. Brooklyn is not what it used to be when I was growing up. Now you got rent in Brooklyn for some two bedrooms that's mortgage money outside of Brooklyn. And deeper you get into America, you could buy some acreages with that monthly rent. So, a different means of thinking about homes is, there's a whole bunch of different means of building an off-grid home. You got some individuals that use containers, shipping containers. You have other individuals that use that build earth ships, which is self-sustainability to the max. You have others with earth bag homes, where it's basically like uh, sandbags, but you put earth, clay, some lime in there, and when it hardens, it's like a 75-pound adobe brick. Got adobe homes also, which is one of the oldest means of building homes, like mud huts and whatnot, which you can find all over the world. They got buildings built over there in the Middle East, just adobe. Um, you also have stray bale, um, and some of the other ones that I dig as far as like zero carbon footprint with hempcrete and also papercrete. All of these different means of material, all these different materials allow you to build a home that you can have for yourself. You own some land and you can build that where you at. All you need to really do is just get into the building code and the laws of where you at to make sure that you're not gonna build something that they just gonna come and tell you to tear it down. Now the next thing is food. Now with food, we all know Monsanto's trying to, well, not even trying, they're doing it. Patenting seeds, basically forcing farmers into a corner where they gotta sell that stuff, or they just gonna, be held up with litigation for years, and nobody got time for that except for Monsanto. So, it's about us growing our own food. You know, Martine and I, we just came back from the community farm. Unfortunately, they wasn't out there today, not at this particular farm. They was at the bigger farm over by IKEA. But we usually go to the one That's in the projects. You know, the Red Hook Farm. That's where I eat out of. That's where I bring my compost to. So that's the one I want to work out of. Not taking anything away from the IKEA farm, but you know, this one in the projects is the one that I feed my people out of. So that's the one I want to rock with. But if you don't happen to have a farm around you, what you could do is start a window farm. Basically, a window farm is a small hydroponic system that uses plastic bottles that, you know, you got a air pump in the bottom, tubing that goes to the top of the bottles, bottle. Each one of them's got a little neti pot in it that holds some vegetation, and it just drips down a solution and it grows right in your window. Now, if you have two or three people in your building that's growing that, you growing some spinach and some sage and some basil, your neighbors growing cherry tomatoes, some lettuce, and some mint, and then you got somebody else growing some other things. That's like nine crops right there that y'all can exchange with each other. All in all, you can feed your building. You know, you can feed people in your building that you cool with. You know, unfortunately, we're not necessarily cool with everybody. That's just the nature of the beast. You know, that's just human nature also. You know, as far as Africans, we had so many tribes, so many languages that it was impossible for everybody to get together and be cool with each other. That's just how it is, culturally, whatever. But I'm not here on that particular. That's another. That's a whole other video. But with that food, growing that food through a window farm would one help you save money. And I've noticed when you farming and you getting your produce from a farm that you worked in and all that, it's like printing money because that money you would have spent on that, you ain't got to spend it on that because now you got it. And then what you do is you bring that compost back. It's a continuous cycle. Everybody feeds everybody. Now, another block in this is finance. Now, in this particular day and age that we in right now with this fiat currency, it's backed by nothing. And we at a point in this time where there is value that can be exchanged electronically that's just as good, if not better, than this fiat sovereign currency that you got in your pocket with some slave owners on it. You might want to take a look into cryptocurrency. I've been doing a little bit more homework on Bitcoin. Now, when I first got into Bitcoin a couple of years ago, I just knew it as Bitcoin being the little b of Bitcoin. I've been doing the knowledge and watching this brother, Reggie Middleton, and he gave me the best explanation that I can get out of all of the stuff that I've seen and been researching dealing with Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is a two-part. It's a two-part thing. The first part is Bitcoin, the big B, which is the application, the program, kind of like the internet. Then you have Bitcoin, the little b, which is the actual cryptocurrency. Now, everybody's harping on the little b of Bitcoin, which is the cryptocurrency, but there's a whole lot of other things that could be done with big B, the Bitcoin, with the big B. Think of it like this: the big B Bitcoin is the internet, and the little b Bitcoin is your email. Now, you don't just get on the internet to check your email. There's a whole bunch of other things that you could do on the internet: Facebook, Twitter, Our Time Now, everything else. You know, Google Docs, Google Maps. You got so many other applications. So the internet as a whole allows other things and other applications to ride on it while other people are able to do other things. So when your email server crashes, that doesn't shut down the whole internet. Same thing with Bitcoin. You can't focus on just the money, or just the value aspect of it without looking at the bigger pictures, like explaining the internet back in 95. People just didn't get it. I remember when CDs first came out and I was stuck on my cassettes. Look at it now. I'm not even having nothing. It's all digital now. So you might want to look into this one brother, Reggie Middleton. This cat is on point in the financial sector. He is like the golden child, calling everything, and people is listening to him. And you might want to look into Bitcoin as far as doing some homework. If you want to invest in it, that's on you. You might want to look into the regulations, because right about now, because it is a peer to peer, the major regulators are trying to get their position into where they can somehow, some way make it illegal to use it. They banned it in some countries. Up in Greece, it was banned. But when you got a value system that's um, much more powerful than your sovereign fiat system that just crashed, of course you're going to do everything that you can do in your power to save what you had and what you know to be true. And I think the last thing I like to speak on is collective economics. Now, with our collective economics, as Black America, Africans and American, we spend, we add on at least 1.1 trillion to this economy. That's our economy alone that we give to the ruling society. If we could take a tenth of that and reinvest that into our own, we wouldn't have to worry about all of the BS that we have to worry about. A lot of the stuff happens to us because we don't have any capital to buy these politicians like everybody else buys politicians. We not cutting checks, but we thinking these cats got our back because they look like us. That ain't the case. That is not the case. We need to use our black-owned businesses a lot more as far as spending our money with each other, but sell to everybody. If this culture vulture want to buy that head wrap, sell it to her. But when you spending your money, you're not going to Walmart. You're going to go to Nicholas. You know? And dealing with the boycott, there's really no strength in the boycott when you don't got no numbers. That Montgomery bus boycott only worked because everybody was down with it. And 381 days is a long time for grandma to be walking back and forth to work, 10 plus miles each way, getting locked up because they, you know, carpooling. If you want to boycott, just don't spend your money there. You ain't gotta do no physical boycott, walking outside, picking in and whatnot. Don't spend your money. I've been boycotting Target for years. I don't spend money in Target. I don't spend money in Walmart. There's places I don't spend money in. That's my means of a boycott. It might not necessarily, they don't see it, but to me, I know what's up. And if there's other people like me that's doing the same thing, they know what's up too. You ain't gotta go out there and figure, if when I announced that Black Boycott Challenge, the black um the black social media challenge and the virtual boycott, I gave it a date for y'all specifically to know, okay, we could do it from here to there. Some people did it, some people didn't. I ain't been on Facebook since the 19th. I'm cool with that. I might not go back. Might not, We will see. But we need each other, yo. And without each other, we might as well just march into these camps, yo. Assimilate. They not accepting assimilation. How many of y'all tried to assimilate and they still put you in your place, let you know, no, you could never be a part of this ruling society. Only a few of you. And the few that we allow, y'all got a job to do to keep the rest of your people in check when we violate you. So that's just a little bit that I wanted to drop on y'all. I hope y'all have a great day. And a BB48.